Hi, Hirsch Saha here, reporting from Auckland as usual. Today is the 17th of April 2024, and today, for this talk video, early childhood education and before and after school care, along with holiday programs. Well, that's what we call them here in New Zealand. Basically, early childhood education is pretty much, if you like, preschool or kindergarten, kindy, where you send kids when they're sort of about 2 or 3 years old up until when they go to school at, say, 5 or 6, depending on which country you're in. And I know here in New Zealand, actually, not only do they do that, the kindergarten, the preschool, early childhood, but they even take care of babies as well. So, parents who say when both parents are working or it's a single parent and they have a very, very young child, a baby, they can even put the baby in a center that will take care of the baby while they're, at work during the day. And and I know actually from experience because I've worked in early childhood education centers actually for some years now, on and off for some years, and I've worked at it both here in Auckland as well as down in Wellington, being the capital city of New Zealand. And it was interesting to see that, how they take care of children, if you like, in a center which is usually sort of something that sometimes used to be a house. It can be, of course, a purposely made center for that activity, but sometimes it was in a building that you can see what used to be a residence, a residential property or a house. And, they have all the play areas for the kids, indoors and outdoors. We'll have the kitchen to, say, make food, fridge to, say, keep the bottles of milk for the babies and all that, labeled according to what the baby needs, even kept according to the temperature that the parents wanted. And then we'll have rooms as well, like, for example, a sleep room for young kids, another room with cots for the babies that sleep whenever they sleep, and they'll follow timetables. It's I actually thought it was quite well done. It can even be a viable business for someone who truly has passion in that area. But it's very good to have that because, of course, today, we do unfortunately struggle a bit with, say, costs of living and the costs of everything only ever headed in one direction, aren't they? On top of that, unfortunately, seems like we have to work, or we are working harder than we were, say, before a few decades ago or a generation ago. So, point I'm getting at, or what I'm saying, is that a lot of people still have to work. Sometimes both parents, or especially if it's just one parent, and it can be very hard to do that and take care of a young child during the day. Usually you can't, so it's good to have these centers there for when you need them. And so that's early childhood education, or if you like, the preschool, kindergarten centers, just in a bit of a nutshell. Then, of course, there's even before and after school care for kids who go to school, um, primary school age children who go to school, say in New Zealand, primary school children are aged from basically 5 to, say, 12, 13. After that, when they're a teenager, they go to, secondary school, or I guess what they call in America or other countries, high school. But for the children who go to primary school, there actually can be what we call in New Zealand before and after school care. So usually for an hour and a half or two before school starts, and say 9 a.m. There's actually before school care, usually at the school, and kids just play about, and they can play inside, they can play outside. Some of them even have breakfast, which is prepared for them there. Sometimes it can be a TV showing a movie, and not only is there before school care, there can also be after school care, again, usually for a few hours. If school ends at, say, 3 p.m., the after school care goes till around about 6 p.m., say before dinner or by the time it's evening. And again, that also helps with parents who are working a full day. Sometimes they need to put their child into before school care, and of course, the child attends school during the day, and then the child stays at school for after school care. And after school care, again, they'll be playing inside and outside. There are heaps of games, toys, puzzles, Lego, what have you, all sorts of things to play with. Yeah, inside and outside. They can play sports. Sometimes there's activities for them to do. Sometimes they do their homework and people help them with it. They'll also have snacks and things like that. And sometimes they're even taught things, or there's activities for them to do and learn from. And I've also worked in before and after school care, and it was interesting to see it. So yeah, there is that before and after school care, and there's even holiday programs, which of course are simply that for during school holidays. If the parents still need to work and they can't just leave their kids at home alone during the days, well, certainly not today. That's probably not something that many people want to do, even though it was a bit more of a norm back in the day. If you go back, say, one generation back to, say, the 90s, 80s, 90s, and before that, it was probably more normal to just leave kids alone at home during the day. I remember sometimes that was done with me and my siblings growing up in the 90s. But say today, for those parents who don't want to just leave their kids alone at home during the day when they work and it's this kids' school holidays, you've got holiday programs usually at a school, but it's not schoolwork. They go there, they have fun. Again, there's the toys, the games, the puzzles, what have you. They can play sports, they can play inside and outside, and then there's very usually activities for them to do, like outings. Like one day they go to a museum, another day they go to the cinemas, another day they go to the beach, another day they go to the park, and what have you. Sometimes even things like arcade, mini golf, list goes on. And I've worked in that area as well, and it was very interesting. I remember like to think, I could be being paid for just sitting in a movie theater or cinema, and just, watching, being able to enjoy the movie myself, even with popcorn and a drink, and just making sure that the kids all around me were quiet and well behaved and enjoying the movie too. So it was a very interesting job. So I've worked in all those areas, but um, what I sort of want, the point I wanted to make in this talk video was not, well, one, to really just to explain it, because sometimes it's not always known, but it's interesting how those things are there, preschool or early childhood, even here in New Zealand, right from the time when a baby is born to when they attend school, and then while they're at school as children, before they go into high school or secondary school, there's before school care, after school care, and during the holidays, holiday programs. And I actually remember when I was a kid growing up, I never had to do any of those things. I think I did go to some preschools or kindergartens at times, but I never had to go to before school care or after school care or holiday programs because mum was there a lot when we were, growing up. Or like sometimes during holidays, if she wasn't there, we are just going to be left at home alone, like I said earlier. But and I actually remember thinking when I heard of friends who did go to, say, holiday programs during the school holidays, I used to feel sorry for them because, like, oh my god, they have to go to those programs. Poor them, they can't just stay at home and do whatever they want. They have to wake up early and go somewhere. But but actually having now worked in those areas, I think they're awesome, and I think that they do create a lot for the kids, fun, enjoyment, even learning. They can see their friends and all that, and they can just enjoy that time and not be just sitting bored at home or waiting for this or waiting for that. Um, I think it's actually a really good system, and I would even encourage it. Not all of it. Like certainly, I think I'd encourage early childhood education or sending kids to a kindergarten or preschool. Certainly builds up their confidence. It certainly teaches them a lot. They learn to interact with children their own age, and that of course helps them with building up their language and communication and all that decision making, navigating the world around them, um, prepares them very well for school. They learn basic things there as well. Again, preparing them for school. I would definitely recommend that as to simply not doing that. I would certainly recommend if you can afford it, and if you're fine with it, send your kids to preschool, early childhood. Uh, Before and after school care, I guess that really depends on whether you want to or not, or sometimes whether you have a choice or not. Like, for example, where I live here in Auckland, which is the metropolis of New Zealand, a very, very large city, kind of well known for a lot of things, good and bad, I guess, like any city. But I guess one of those bad things is traffic. The traffic is just horrendous. And yeah, we've got parents who spend a lot of the day at work, but a bit more each day stuck in traffic, going to work and then again coming home from work, and that's why they put their kids into before school care and after school care, and sometimes they've got no choice, and I think it can be sometimes a bit of a burden on the child to actually say go somewhere and be there at 7 a.m. in the morning, which is usually when I worked in it before school care started. And then, of course, that'll go to about 8:30, and then school starts at 9, goes till about 3 in the afternoon. And then having to go to after school care again after that, which could be from 3 in the afternoon to, say, 6 in the evening. It can be a very long day for a child if you put that all up. If a child goes through all that, starting at that time of 7 a.m. in the morning, going till 6 in the evening, that's 11 hours, isn't it? So I think it can be a bit of a burden on a child. So I think before school care, after school care, only if you really have to, or if you want to, or even maybe perhaps the child enjoys it. So before and after school care, maybe one or the other, maybe not both, unless again you absolutely have to, or you've got no choice. But I guess that really depends on you. But certainly holiday programs like early childhood early childhood education, or the kindergartens, preschool, I would highly recommend the holiday programs, because again, they're a lot of fun for the kids, and they learn a lot, and they interact with each other, and there's the outings as well, and things which can sometimes be um, a bit of a burden, or just a bit hard for a parent to do. Even if a parent is home, to take the children, out every single day can sometimes be a bit of a burden. Whereas in holiday programs, they will have that basically done for them. So yeah, sometimes I think, like I said, when I was growing up, I used to feel sorry for friends of mine who had to go to holiday programs in the school holidays, and I felt so lucky just to be able to sit at home. But now I think, geez, I actually wish I did go to some holiday programs. I would have actually really enjoyed them and had a lot of fun and learnt a lot and made friends and all that. So yeah, so it's interesting to know that all those things are there: early childhood education, or preschool, kindergarten. Then you've got before and after school care for those kids at primary school, and then for the kids at primary school again, you've got holiday programs for the school holidays. Um, Interesting to know they're all there, and I would really highly recommend them. Certainly, early childhood and the holiday programs. I guess before and after school care, really depending on whether you want it or not, or if your child wants it or not, or even if you have a choice. But certainly, early childhood and holiday programs, I would highly recommend, and I still wish I went through them when I was growing up. But hey, I guess that's how we move forward, by learning and by correcting things and continually improving things. So there you go, another way to make life that much better, or at least the lives of your kids. So hopefully, I hope I've helped you in some way in this video, and yeah, all the best. Thank you.